Okay, so I think I've circulated a Google form in which you can fill up your doubts, academic doubts. We'll try to have that session next week or after Diwali, okay, depending upon how many doubts I get. If lesser number of doubts are there, then we'll delay the session. If sufficient, because to conduct a Zoom session, I need to have sufficient amount of doubts. Yes, it does not mean that you keep, that you just fill the Google form for the sake of it. Okay, so whatever doubts you, because many of the students have joined late also, and they could not have the opportunity. They might have some doubts in the lectures that we have already covered. So if they're watching this, and then they can simply fill up the Google form. There are 3 doubts that you can ask in that Google form. Okay, later also we'll have more such sessions. Then also you can ask those doubts, and then when we have sufficient number of doubts, we will conduct the Zoom session. That Zoom session will specifically for the doubt clearance only. Okay, I will not teach anything, and that will be for that purpose only. Okay, so what you were discussing yesterday? Emotional intelligence. Okay, so before I discuss that, yesterday 2 students met me after the class and asked some doubt, and I think I somehow got angry at them. एक तो आप हैं, दूसरे कौन थे? आए नहीं आज? इसीलिए नहीं आए क्या? आप नहीं, दूसरे स्टूडेंट और कौन है? हाँ, वो 2 दोस्त थे, 2 फ्रेंड्स. आज आए नहीं? ऑनलाइन देख रहे हो क्या भाई? ऑनलाइन देख रहे हो कि देख ही नहीं रहे हो? नथिंग, नो. हाँ, Sohani, I will discuss that in today's class, where person is emotionally intelligent but unethical. Okay, so I think he was asking me the question regarding objectivity and neutrality. Many of you still have doubts and impartiality. Many of you have still doubts regarding objectivity and impartiality. So objectivity, as we know, is making decision based on facts only. Why I'm saying as we know? Because we will be having only that limited interpretation of objectivity only when we are, dealing with questions. Otherwise, we will never be able to answer the question. The questions like apart from objectivity, empathy is necessary to make ethical decision, because that answer will always come in the context of limitation of objectivity. Understood or not? Okay, so objectivity and impartiality. So objectivity is basically where we are making decision based on facts, while impartiality is that when we are engaging in the behaviors, we are not discriminating or having any bias with respect to anyone. Okay, so I will give you the example of reservation. Okay, so suppose in reservation, you apply for, let's say, EWS, or you apply for scheduled caste or scheduled tribe certificate. Yes. So when government decides that whether you are eligible for that certificate or not, it is taking decision based on facts. So that is objectivity. If you are meeting the facts, then you will be given certificate. Yes or no? Irrespective of anything, if you are meeting the eligibility criteria, then you will be given certificates. Yes, so that is objectivity. But the policy of reservation per se, we often call it an example of positive discrimination. It is the example of positive discrimination. So basically, yes, we are discriminating. We are not truly impartial, but we are ensuring fairness. We are ensuring that we are positively using that discrimination. Understood or not? So in this example, you see, yes, we are discriminating. We are not treating everyone equally. Here our focus is on fairness. That some people, who have got historical injustice, that they should be given, a different kind of treatment. So when different kind of treatment is given, then of course, some positive partiality is there. Yes, it is naturally in the sense of positiveness only, and that is why we call it positive discrimination. So when we are calling it positive discrimination, that means that we are discriminating. Yes, we are discriminating, but it is positive discrimination. But it is in that regard, the decision on a certificate is objective, but it is positive discrimination. So I hope now you are able to understand that objectivity you may be objective, but it may lead to positive discrimination. Understood or not? Or basically you may be impartial when you are making decision based on emotions. I gave you the same example in a previous class, that suppose you are talking about a particular group, and you want to help that group, you want to help the people in that region. A region is there, backward region is there, and you are distributing some relief pattern, like Robin Hood. Maybe like Robin Hood, you are distributing some relief pattern. आपने बोला कि आओ और पैसा ले जाओ. And in doing that, you are not discriminating amongst anyone. You are distributing the relief impartially. You are not discriminating amongst various people who are there, but you are violating facts. You are just giving the benefit without ensuring their eligibility. So you are not objective here. You are not taking decision based on facts. Yes, you are actually just giving the benefit, and you are not discriminating when you are giving those benefits. Understood or not? So these are the hypothetical examples. Through that we can understand that objectivity is basically when we are making the decision. It is more about that. And impartiality is basically when we are actually behaving with respect to other person. And that behavior may stem from facts or it may stem from values or emotions. Understood or not? अब समझ में आ रहा है आपको ऑनलाइन वालों? Difference between any other doubt? Any other doubt? अरे वो दो बच्चे कौन है, राम और लखन, बताओ तो. ऑनलाइन बैठे हैं कि हाथ भी खड़ा नहीं कर रहे? गोस्ट घर चले गए क्या? Okay, so I think when I typed this message on Telegram, when I went home after this class, I was not feeling very good about it actually. And I think my mother was there, and I told this to my mother कि आज मैंने 2-3 बच्चों को डांट दिया. And she was like, क्यों डांट दिया? बोला कि टीचर की डांट तो बढ़िया ही होती है. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, वो होता है ऐसा ना सोचें कि बढ़िया होती है. And I was feeling very guilty about it. And this conversation was heard by my wife. She came and she said, हमको डांटते हैं तब तो कोई guilty feel नहीं करते. So basically I was feeling a bit guilty, and and I apologize my friend, है ना, अगर कोई ऐसा बुरा लगा हो. And the second person also, वो है नहीं यहाँ पे. I think whenever he watches the lecture, to him also I apologize. At times it just happen, डांटा नूटी चलती. शेरो शायरी सुनाई नहीं सुनाई फिर मैंने आपको इकबाल की? नहीं सुनाई? चलो शेर सुनाते हैं आपको इस बात पे. It is very important. नुक्ताचीनी समझते हैं आप? Do you understand नुक्ताचीनी? क्या नुक्ताचीनी कर रहा है? This keyword, this Hindi word is there, नुक्ताचीनी. It means that कमी निकालना, critically किसी को critically evaluate करना, कमी निकालना. So इकबाल says that बुरा कह दूं मैं तुम्हें ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, बुरा कह दूं मैं तुम्हें ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, मैं भी तो हूं इकबाल अपने नुक्ताचीनों में. So it means that it is not that I am terming you wrong personally. It is just I am criticizing your action, just like I criticize myself also. So it is like that I am not terming you wrong. I am not saying that you are a bad person. I am just criticizing one behavior of yours, just like I criticize my own behavior and I analyze my own behavior. Understood? So I think sir is going this deep is necessary. कौन सा deep की बात कर रहे हैं आप? I mean, I don't understand the context. Regarding? मतलब मैं मन बहला रहा हूँ आपको ऐसा लग रहा है आपसे?
जिसको आपने गुस्सा किया, मतलब वैसे.
I'm not getting you. मतलब आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं?
जैसे आपने उनको थोड़ा सा गुस्सा कर दिया.
हाँ.
अभी आप कह रहे हो कि मैं आपके एक्शंस को क्रिटिसाइज कर रहा हूँ.
हाँ.
आपको नहीं.
हाँ.
उसी उसमें कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोला
कि मैं अपने मन को बहला रहा हूँ ऐसा कह के. That is your perspective. That is your perspective actually. The students जो मुझे जानते हैं, और I think in the due course of time you will also know that भाई मैं क्यों गुस्सा होऊंगा आप पे? मतलब do I know you personally beyond this classroom? Maybe you don't even exist for me, and neither I exist for you for that matter. What is happening in my personal life is none of your concern. Yes, I mean, I may be struggling with something at my home and something like that. It is none of your business. Yes, you may not be concerned. Similarly, this is from myself. So मैं गुस्सा क्यों होऊंगा? कोई पर्सनल खुन्नस थोड़ा ना है आपसे कि आपकी शक्ल पसंद नहीं आ रही तो बस क्रिटिसाइज कर दो इनको. ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है. चलो बताता हूँ गुस्सा क्यों हुए, वो ही सुन लीजिए आप, ठीक है. एंड देयर इज अ ग्रेट लर्निंग दैट इज देयर एक्चुअली. ओके, बट बिफोर आई डू दैट, in every batch that is there, second person तो आई नहीं, I think. So आप आ जाइए, आप चूज कर लो इनमें से कौन सी लेंगे आप. यू हैव दिस. अरे यू लो, पकड़ो पकड़ो पकड़ो, इनमें से कोई एक ले लो और एक दूसरे भाई के लिए. आई डोंट नो ही इज देयर और नॉट. आइए आइए. अरे एवरी ईयर इन एवरी वेज 1 or 2 इंसिडेंट्स हैपन.
दूसरे वाले को दे दूं मैं?
ना आप जानते हो ना.
नहीं, लेकिन ढूंढूंगा उसको।
नहीं, एक ले लीजिए, दूसरा दे दीजिए. कौन सा ठीक है?
कोई भी ले लो आप.
ठीक है. It is more expensive. Okay, so the thing is, see, so इनकी बात बताता हूँ. तो he was asking me question. I think the question was, sir, what is the difference between political neutrality and impartiality? You know, after so many questions, he asked this question. So in that context, you know, and usually after every class he asks me questions, and his kind of questions are actually, I would say, he's going into, I mean, he's actually being too critical about anything that he's studying actually. And I told him that I have already taught this. I think there was a slide that was there. In political neutrality is basically non-partisanship and impartiality. And in that table, the difference I explained, you know. So I've already taught this. Still you are asking me the question. Then he said, sir, perhaps I'm not able to communicate properly and so on and so forth. So I told him that you are going into unnecessary details. And I gave him the example, the same example that I gave you with respect to prelims, that, you know, there is a category of students who think very differently, very radically, and because of that, they do not qualify prelims. It is there, it is a structural defect that is there in their thinking. Okay, because I just gave you the example, you know, money bill can be, you know, proved in Lok Sabha, then they will think, no, in Vidhan Sabha also. And they will mark the question wrong only. So that is their thinking. It is a bit skewed, and because of that, they are not getting marks in paper 1, and similarly in CSAT also, in passage question also, they are failing, because they are not able to understand that what is it actually implying. So it will only hurt them. When you try to, you know, control things with so rigid hands, it actually, you know, slips away. It is just like sands. At times when you try to control it like that, it actually slips away. Ethics, you know, is not the subject that you have to go into, you know, such mechanical way you are going to questioning and everything. The concepts have to be understood and applied while you are solving the questions. So you are here, the objective should be very much clear, that you are here to gain marks, not to become philosopher. That objective, it should be there. You know, and when we try to control things, and then it may backfire actually. I will give you my own story. Okay, that story is very, very important, and I'm sure you will learn from it. The story is that, you know, I think in our times, there used to be board at 8th level. You know, district level board was there. And I was studying in a school, and I had this dream that I should be in merit, because if you are in merit, top 10 or 15 of the district, then your name will be there in the newspaper. So that was a charm that we had, that yes, I have to be in merit. In 8th class, I am telling you. So we studied hard and everything, and somehow I was not in the merit. Top 15 name was there in the merit. I was 19th. Okay, so I was 19th in the district. So I was disheartened naturally that I'm not in the merit and so forth. So then my father said, okay, let's work hard. Because in 10th level, the board was at the state level. I studied from Rajasthan board. And in that, then I thought that, yes, this time I will work really, really hard. You know, in my 8th class, I remember that we used to have a paper on English. And in one question that will often come in that paper was story writing. That we have to write a story on particular theme. And those themes were like that only. I mean, the themes were predictable. Every year, the similar themes will come in the examination. So since we were studying from Hindi medium only, so our teacher, what they will do, they will just simply, you know, make us write down the story, and we have to rectify everything, and then, you know, simply produce it in the examination hall. So that is how, you know, people used to pass the examination, that they will simply memorize everything, even a story, you know, lion and mouse, something like that. You know, the story themes were there, limited story themes were there, 8 to 10 perhaps, I don't remember now, but only those themes question will come repeatedly. So what the students will do, they will simply memorize everything, every story, and they will simply reproduce it in the examination hall. But in my 8th class, I did not memorize, you know, because it was not in my nature to actually rectify things. Even now also, you know, I encourage you to do that. So I did not memorize thing, and I still remember, very vividly remember, I was writing that story, very passionately. I was describing everything, and whatever English I knew, and I was writing the story in a very passionate manner. And when I got the marks, I got 97 marks out of 100. Okay, so they were good enough marks actually. It was not because of those marks that I was not in the merit at district level. But then I thought that there is still a gap of 3 marks. Then I thought, listen to me, this story is very, very important. Then I thought that there is still a gap of 3 marks. I can perhaps improve on these 3 marks. When I was in my 10th class, in my board, so perhaps I thought that perhaps, 3 marks the teacher has cut because perhaps I might have made mistakes in my story writing because I did not memorize the story. And because I was producing it, very instantaneously, and very passionately I was writing. So perhaps I might have made certain mistakes there, and because of that, I did not get full marks in English. So in my board examination, I thought that I should rectify every story that is there. The similar question will come at 10th level also. So I still remember, I mean, 2 days or 3 days before my English paper, the very first paper was English paper only. 2 days or 3 days before the paper, I was under so much pressure that I was rectifying every story, every probable story that could come in the board examination. Rectifying everything, every single line I was trying to memorize because I need to get those extra 3 marks in the examination. I was trying to control that thing so much that, and then naturally I was under so much pressure that I have to do this and that. And then in the actual examination, when I went, I could not recall any single line. Any single line, I could not even recall. And then later, I wrote the examination. Somehow I wrote my first paper. And when I went out from the examination hall, I still remember, I was on the verge of crying only. Because I knew my paper had, gone very bad only. And when I went home, I remember, my mother asked me, how was your paper? And I said that, that I messed it up. I couldn't even perform to my abilities in that paper because I tried to memorize so many things so rigidly. Something as creative as story writing. Perhaps I got 97 marks because of that story writing only. Perhaps the examiner was impressed because of that, because that was a different story, the way it was narrated than rest of the student. But I was like, I need to get those extra 3 marks because of this. I have to memorize this only. And then I really messed it up. In the first paper, it went really, really bad because I tried to control thing, something as creative as story writing. And because of that, entire paper I messed it up. Entire paper. I got only 86 marks in the actual examination. From 97, it went to 86. So that is a difference that is there. And later I remember when I went home, I straight away went to sleep. Because I was not able to comprehend that what had happened to me. So I straight away went to sleep. And then I remember, since I already knew that chances of coming into merit at state level are gone because I messed up my first paper itself, now I was very much free with respect to the expectation towards me. And it liberated me like anything. And after that, I performed really well in rest of the papers. So because of this paper only, again, I was not in merit. I was 32 or 31 in the entire state, but still, I was not in the top 15, top 20 because of this particular paper. So I am telling you this, that when I tried to control things, so ethics and essay are one of the 2 most creative papers that are there, both the papers. Imagine that you are trying to mug up things for ethics and essay. And that is why the problem is when you try to mug up, so rigidly, the problem is that you tend to interpret the question, in the fashion that you remember it instead of what is asked. And then you tend to misread the question. So that is the problem that is there if you try to control such creative paper. Ethics and essay both are, both papers demand a lot of creativity at your end to write the answers. So that is why you should not try to control them. And that is why if you are going to such nitty-gritties and everything, you will only confuse yourself. You will only confuse yourself, and that is why, you will not write that well. And that is why, I think the very first thing that I said to him was that just by looking at your questions, in the last 3-4 classes, I am getting the feeling that you are not on the right track. तो उन्होंने बोला सर थोड़ा हल्का हो जाऊं मैं, मैंने कहा हाँ आप हल्के हो जाओ, बिकॉज इफ यू थिंक लाइक दैट यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू राइट गुड आंसर, क्योंकि आप उसको बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से, एथिक्स एंड मोरालिटी आई थिंक आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट, इफ यू लुक एट द यूपीएससी क्वेश्चंस, यू नो यूपीएससी इटसेल्फ इज यूजिंग वेरियस वर्ड्स इंटरचेंजेबली, you know it is itself not serious while framing the questions. So if you go into such nitty-gritty, you will often find that you are writing a very narrow answer. So that is what I am telling you. We should know that when we should go into that much detail and when we should stop, when we should go into hair splitting of the concept and when should actually know the difference between different concepts. That is a wisdom that will only come when you go through PYQs on a regular basis. Because if I tell you don't go into such detail, then you may say, sir, it is wrong, you only asked us, because I may be, it is simply, you should have that confidence that we are not required to go into that much detail, because these are not the kind of question UPSC is asking. That confidence will come from there only. Understood or not? So that is why, you talk about prelims, any bird species is asked. So it will not be the case definitely that you will memorize every bird species on the earth. Or even in India. For a 2-marker question, that is simply very negative, cost-benefit analysis that is there. Very negative cost-benefit analysis that is there. So that is a perspective. So the subject is very easy. You are making it much more complicated by hair splitting so many things. So that was my perspective, because I have been looking at his doubt for so many days. There is nothing against him personally. Why would I be, so against that person? So it was just, but my tone and the way I spoke to him, it could have been better. So I'm not sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for the way I said. And he was very respectful to me during that conversation, and that is what struck me. And he said, sir, perhaps I will go home and think again on this. So it really struck me that this student is behaving so calmly, and that is what I should also learn from him, because at times things like this happen. So when I went home and I typed that message on the Telegram, another message that I was going to type was that who were these 2 students whom I met after the class. But then my wife stopped me कि भाई कल ही मिल लेना, रात क्यों खराब कर रहे हो? Because I was in so much of guilt that I spoke to them a bit harshly. So दिल बहलाने के लिए गालिब ख्याल अच्छा नहीं है. It is what it is, and of course it depends upon your perspective. I am sure. Have I told you the story about Veer Pratap Singh? The same guy, not the story. There is another story behind that person. When बता दिया क्या वो ऐसे वाला? नहीं बताया. हाँ? CP वाला बताया. CP वाला actual story है. People were doubting that also. उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Then she also taught me that I should not indulge such people. Today I thought that I should bring photos of that, but then her learning were there, lessons from the students. Okay. And the last class, it will be very much confirmed. Don't worry. The last class of this batch. Okay, so कहाँ पे था मैं? The next story about Veer Pratap Singh, something that I have not shared. So this person, when he met me, he met me in 2018. So he had already given 3 UPSC interview, 3 consecutive UPSC interview, but he was not getting through to the final list. And he was utterly frustrated. Given the kind of background he was in, I did not know that at that point of time. Anyone can be frustrated. Consecutively you are getting to the interview and still not finding your name in the final list. And the culprit was essay. He was getting only 120 or 122 marks in the essay paper only. That was the culprit. And because of that, he was not able to cross because in those days, essay marks used to be quite high, 150, 160, 140 also. Year on year basis, it will differ, but no, those were not the good marks, 120 or 122 in that period. So when he met me, I said, okay, let's start working. And when he started, showing his essays to me, and he was very disciplined otherwise. He will come, write test and show his essays to me. And I remember in my third interaction, I got angry at him and I said, you are wasting your time as well as mine time. I think we should stop these meetings because you are taking a lot of my time, and still you are doing the same mistake again and again. You are not improving on your introduction. I have been telling you for last 3 meetings that you are doing the same mistake, you are wasting your time and mine time as well. And he went home and perhaps he introspected and something like that. So when the final result came, he got 92 rank. He got 92 rank because of poor marks in interview, 140 or something like that. Otherwise, he would have been in top 50 only. And he had got 147 marks in essay that year, a jump of nearly 27 marks. And those marks in that time must have been among top 5 or top 10 of the country. So then he came to me in that CP only, he told me, sir, after third discussion, in our third meeting during essay, you told me this, because I had forgotten about it. Because that is the way I usually behave, so I had forgotten about it. I don't really mince my words. If you are not writing well, I will tell you that only to your face, that you are not writing well. So that's what he told me, sir, that after that really struck me that how will I improve if I'm making the same mistake again and again. So it really depends upon the students. It really depends upon the student how they are taking the feedback. It is never any. And the thing is that if I become too tolerant, I should say cold. The real word should be cold with respect to how students are writing actually. Then I will lose the. I would say the only why I'm teaching. There are so many options. So many things can be done in my life, but I'm teaching because I'm passionate about teaching. I'm mentoring students because I'm passionate about that. I told you the story of Deepika. I told you the story of, I think, Megha. All these stories. So these are the stories that motivate me, really motivate me every year. And I feel very proud of what I'm doing. And all these things happen because when you are so emotionally involved in what you are doing. So when you are so emotionally involved, so naturally you will feel angry at times because what you are seeing may not be the things that you want to see in the student. And the only way to avoid that is that I become indifferent towards that. That, whatever you do, it is your luck. Whatever, because my job is done when I'm teaching you. After that, what you are doing is your fate. So if I become that indifferent, then it will create, I think then I will stop teaching anymore after that, if I adopt that attitude. So these are the side effects of that only. So when he was asking those many doubts continuously, and that is when I told him that you are unnecessarily hair splitting things and making things very complicated, and that is why you will not be able to write answer. Understood? And the second person, I think the second person, he asked me some question with respect to social awareness. And as soon as I started speaking, he interrupted me many times. And because of that, I got angry at him. That was the right thing to do actually, but then of course I shouldn't have been more careful actually. So, समझ में आ गया आपको अब? So that is the thing. चलो आगे पढ़ाना start करते हैं. It really depends upon you. I think students seek feedback immediately before the mains examination. Immediately before the mains examination, they will send me their answers and, sir, how am I writing? So usually I don't respond to such messages because I will not mince my words. I will not tell you that you are writing well if you are not writing well. And that may lead to lack of confidence. So I only respond to those whom I know very personally in that time, because that person should have the capacity to take the negative feedback, that I may not be doing that well, even 7 days are remaining, and I may be committing this mistake. So that is another lesson that I learned in one of the mains examination. One of the student, I knew her, and I gave the feedback that this is not the right way to write. And then next day, she texted me, sir, you have shattered my confidence and something like that. And I was like that, why you are seeking feedback 7 days before the examination then? I mean, what do you, I should be integral with respect to my feedback. I cannot say that you are writing so well, even when you are not writing well. How can I say that? Because later on you only will come to me and say, sir, आपने तो बोला था marks आएंगे, marks तो आए 75. Later only you only will come. So I have to be integral with respect to that. So that is the process. So immediately before the mains, that is another reason that I usually don't give feedback to the students whom I don't know personally. समझ में आ रहा है आपको कि नहीं? Okay, so I think any other doubt from the previous classes? Any other doubt from the previous classes or from the previous class? Vishesh is not here. Is he here? What have you? Chocolate दे दिया भाई. What have you given to student? Okay. Any other doubt? How EI can be developed? By this only. What I am doing. Perhaps this will be a reminder to me that I should be more careful. Any other doubt? How EI can be developed? That is a topic that we will discuss in this class only. Don't worry. Any other doubt from the previous class? एक और शेयर है वो और कह देते हैं फिर आगे पढ़ाएंगे. On the similar theme, क्या बोलिए? थीम चेंज करें? Okay. Why? Okay. चलो इस शेयर के बाद स्टार्ट करते हैं. एंड इट सेज दैट एक इधर मैं हूँ, आई थिंक सुना भी होगा आपने, एक इधर मैं हूँ जो घर वालों से नाराजगी है, एक इधर तू है जो गैरों का कहा मानता है. एक इधर मैं हूँ जो घर वालों से नाराजगी है, एक इधर तू है जो गैरों का कहा मानता है. यार मैं तुझसे अपना समझ कर ही तो कुछ कहता हूँ और तू भी मेरी बातों का बुरा मानता है, तो बुरा नहीं मानना है. Understood? So whatever I am saying, you should not take that to your heart, Okay. So I think this is what we discussed in the last class, that how EI can be helpful in terms of managing your behavior while you are dealing within the organization. Yes, so it can be about managing lobbying, it can be about managing different pressures that you are getting from different quarter, it can be about managing frictions or motivating individuals to work in an extreme working environment like CAPF personnel and everything. Okay, and I give the example of Fada Patel also, that how he was able to unite the entire country and without so much of blood and without the policy that Bismarck followed. Yes, great example, great display of emotional intelligence. Understood or not? Yes, then we also discussed about T.N. Seshan Saab, E. Sridharan Saab, that how they were able to actually do so many great things in their life because they had this ability to manage and motivate people. Understood or not? So now let us discuss that how EI can be helpful with respect to the relationship with the public. Are you understanding how I am dividing this interaction within the organization? That is your interaction with your subordinate, your colleagues, your senior, the hierarchy was there. And now I am talking about the interaction, at public level, relationship with the public. So let us talk about that, relationship with the public. Then of course, that when you are, I think I gave you this example, when you are in the civil services, at times, media personnel, they will ask you very provocative questions. Some rowdy citizens are there. They will not behave properly, and the civil servant, they should be mindful of that. Teachers should also be mindful of what students are asking. Even when students are asking things, they should also be emotionally intelligent when they are responding to that. Yes, so a truly emotionally intelligent teacher, will take the doubts very calmly and respond to that in a very calm fashion. Similarly, the bureaucrat also, when the person is dealing with the citizens, rowdy citizen especially, or the media personnel, he should be very mindful of that, because if he says something like that, that can become controversial, and it may have a lot of impact on his functioning. For all that matter, he may be transferred also. Yes, then you talk about empathy, because very important component of emotional intelligence is empathy, that you should be able to understand the pain of others. The example that I gave you of Armstrong Payne, that he was able to build a road out of crowdfunding of resources. Yes, so that example is reflection of that, better social awareness, and how he was able to manage the relationship. You imagine that you are asking funds from the people to fund the public project. Now, it is a great display of relationship management, that you have to convince them. You have to convince a lot of people that please donate money to fund this road. The people may simply say that it is the job of government, why should we fund that road? But then it will require a lot of emotional intelligence on the part of Armstrong Payne. Understood or not? Yes, so that is what that is what you get to practice when you are emotional intelligent. You actually you become empathetic and compassionate and help alleviate the pain of the public. Then conflict resolution, very very important. I give you example of Naxalism, insurgency that is there. I think you must have gone through the post-independence history of our nation, and there are so many insurgent groups were there in northeastern part of the country. And their government used lot of emotional intelligence to bring into them, in the mainstream politics. You talk about the, various groups that were there in the Nagaland, in the Mizoram, and then how government signed peace accord with them. So that is actually a reflection of emotional intelligence, that government was able to understand their perspective, offered some concession to them, and based on that they were able to draw the agreement that was there. So this agreement is actually a great reflection of emotional intelligence. Understood or not? So then that is how it helps you in terms of conflict resolution. Then integrity, I think we discussed that in the context of individual level, that if you are emotionally intelligent, that you will be able to resist the temptation of power and money at the individual level. When you are dealing with the public, the people may come and offer you lot of bribe, but it requires tremendous amount of integrity, tremendous amount of emotional intelligence to resist those temptations, because your emotions of greed, that you want to experience all that lavish hospitality and everything, but you have to say no to it. For that you must be having lot of emotional intelligence. Then I think we discussed about community initiative in the context of joint forest management, that how a particular DFO, district forest officer in West Bengal, he was able to motivate the people that yes, all of us should work together in managing the forest. Because this requires a great deal of emotional intelligence, that you understand their problem also, that in all you talk about the forest, the forest, it spread over lot of area. Yes, many hectares of land is there, and forest personnel, of course, you cannot have that many personnel to cover, so much of ground. So you need to have good equation with the local people. You talk about poaching, you talk about all these crimes, wildlife crimes. These crimes cannot happen without local people's support. Understood or not? So that is why it is very much important that you have good equation with the local people, and for that you must be socially aware that what they need, because then only they will have the partnership with you. And that is why you see that in joint forest management, the people, the locals that are living around that area, they are given, certain percentage in the sale of wood, that they are given certain proceeds from the forest, that they are allowed to graze their cattle in the national in the forest area, that is there. So basically, you understand that what they need, and you also know better awareness about yourself that what you need. You need their cooperation in preventing, deforestation, in preventing illegal activities like animal killing and everything, animal poaching and everything, and you offer them what they need, and that is how this partnership is formed. So joint forest management is a great example of emotional intelligence, where you are understanding their situation, you are understanding your situation, and you are able to forge a very good relationship in which both the parties are benefiting. You talk about, I think the success of this project line, in the Gujarat, the Gir, around Gir, we have good population of lions. Yes, it was because of great cooperation by Maldhari communities that live there. So that community is also participating in protection of the wildlife. The people tell them. I will give you another incident here. I think 2 to 3 years before, we went to Kumbhalgarh. That is a place that is there in Rajasthan. So near Kumbhalgarh, there is leopard safari that is usually there. So leopard safari, leopards are there. So you go there. I'm not recalling the exact name of that sanctuary. I think Kumbhalgarh sanctuary only. Okay, but we went in monsoon. So in monsoon, usually it is closed. Usually it is closed for safari. But tigers being, the animals being animals, they don't know the boundaries. So it is not the case that you will find all the leopard, inside the sanctuary only. Many of the leopards live outside the perimeter of the sanctuary. So they were living there, and that is why safari was still ongoing in those areas, in the peripheral areas, not inside the reserve. Okay, so this guide, he came to then we went there in the morning, and as soon as we entered the village, where the leopards were there, the hills were there, and leopards were living there. As soon as we entered the village, we encountered the villagers that were there, and they said, yes, it is there, it is there. So all the people who were going there to the safari, they went there and saw the leopards. But the leopard was very far. We could not see it very properly. Of course, it was there on the hill, but we had to use the binoculars to see that properly. So after some time, that leopard went to other side of the hill. Okay, and then we went there, but we could not find him. So while we were coming back, we told that person, the driver, that let us go to that route only because the leopard lives there. Let us go to that route only. And to that, driver refused. The driver refused, no sir, we take one path for coming and another path for going out. Because if we go to that path again and again, the leopard will move from that hill. He will see so many activities there. So see, the people, the safari, the people who were guides, they had this idea of sustainability, that if they disturb the leopards too much, then these leopards will move from that area. Then how they will earn from the safari? How will they show the leopards to them? So this idea, should be there, that that sort of emotional intelligence should be there, that we should respect them also. So even though we requested that person that let's go and let's see him, let's see the leopard again, he said no, we will take another route only, and that is what all of us have agreed. That is what all the safari drivers, we have agreed on, that we will take different route only. While we were coming, on the hill, the top of the hill, the leopard was there, and the bottom of the hill, people were sleeping at 5 a.m. or I think 6 a.m. People were sleeping. Just few meters of difference was there. You see, the coexistence that we talk about, the man and animal living together. I could not see a brighter example than that. Within the few meters only, people were sleeping. Perhaps they have slept there throughout the night. In the morning, they were about to, wake up. And leopard was there at the top of the hill, and he was living there. The safari people, they knew that he was living there. So that is what, you have to be emotionally intelligent as a DFO or the forest management officers. You have to be emotionally intelligent, that you should offer them something that, see, if you indulge in poaching, that there will not be tigers in the area. So how will you be actually taking people to the safari? Why will people come? You talk about Ranthambore. Ranthambore has one of the highest density of tigers in India, and that is why you have great chance of seeing them. But suppose, locals, they start indulging in poaching of the tigers. It is locals only who are employed as drivers and guides. Yes, so they will lose their livelihood. They will lose their livelihood because many of them are running resorts also, many of them are running hotels also. So that is the understanding that they should also have. This understanding should be communicated to them, that your future is very much linked to the sustainability of this forest management, and that is why you should support us in prevention of poaching. Understood or not? So that is the perspective. This JFM, a great example of social capital, because the shared value of protection of environment or the national park or any particular animal, that shared value, that network or relationship should be there between administration and between people. Are you understanding this or not? And that shared relationship will only be there when there is emotional intelligence. Understood? You talk about Keoladeo Bird Sanctuary. Yes, the bird sanctuary from my district. You must have heard of it, Ramsar Site National Park and everything. In Keoladeo Bird Sanctuary, usually in the month of December and January, the different migrant birds come from Siberia. They come there for breeding and everything. And that is actually the time for a lot of tourist seasons are there. A lot of tourists come there. And the rickshawalas, the motorized vehicles are not allowed inside the park for obvious reason. So many rickshawalas are there. So the rickshawalas, they are the people who are living nearby. So they will lose their livelihood if they don't support the conservation of birds. So that is what you have to be emotionally intelligent in understanding the needs of the people, offer them something that they care about. You talk about Sri Selam Nagarjun Tiger Reserve that is there, and Chenchu tribe has a great role in terms of their conservation. So basically, that relationship, that bonding comes from emotional intelligence only. I gave you 2 examples. I think you can add many more. The Gair, Maldari community and Chenchu tribe. And that is a reflection of social capital only, in which administration, people, community, all these are having shared value of wildlife conservation or environmental conservation, and they are having this network of relationship between both people are recognizing each other's needs and participating in this particular thing that we call as joint forest management. Understood or not? Then credibility. Emotional intelligence means that it helps you in gaining credibility in the eyes of public. Because as a district magistrate or SP, you will again encounter various interests. As citizens, there will be people who will be quarreling among each other. There is one faction, another faction, both factions are quarreling among each other. So you must be sensitive enough, emotional intelligent enough to understand their perspective, their concerns. Understood? So that only will give you credibility. If you don't understand their perspective, it will be very, very difficult and ultimately better communication. I think someone asked me, I think my line was there, taking the cue. So I don't know who asked me that question. In emotional intelligence, one of the attribute was taking cue, from behaviors. So that is a reflection of social awareness. Just like your mother, she's emotionally intelligent with respect to you. Even when you are not expressing your problem verbally, if you are not behaving, if your face is not that great, you are not smiling and everything, then your mother will often come to you and ask that, beta, what has happened? So she is being emotionally intelligent, she is able to take cue from your behavior without you verbally communicating the same thing. So basically, when you are emotionally intelligent, you become expert at non-verbal communication also. So that is why it helps you, in making that bond deeper, because without people telling you directly or verbally, you get to understand their perspective. Understood or not? So the calmness or the non-verbal communication, it comes with that. Understood? Similarly, conflict management, I think we have discussed. The Sherni movie, how many of you seen the Sherni movie? Yes, in the Sherni movie also you see, when that tigress has killed a village personal, and then all the villagers, they are like that we should kill the tiger. We should kill the tiger. And this is a real life situation, often it is there. Suppose a leopard or a tiger, suppose it has killed any villager, any person from the community, then all the villager and community, they will be dead against that we should kill the tiger. But it is in the nature of the tiger that he will kill the human being if you are, if he's fearful of you and something like that. But if you start doing that, then not just you will be committing a crime, it is illegal. They are protected under Wildlife Protection Act. But also, if tigers are living nearby you, then probably you are earning a lot because of tourism activity also. You will be, harming the entire ecosystem. So, you see, you talk about that DFO, she was posted there, and you imagine how emotionally charged the situation was. You imagine that situation? So, she had to, calm the people down, because they were seething with anger that we have to kill the tiger again. We have to kill the tiger. So she had to calm them down and make them understand that killing the tiger is not the option, or is not the solution rather. And that is where you require emotional intelligence. You talk about various rights are there, and at times when people are killed, the villagers and the people from their community, they will simply refuse to burn or do the last rites of the dead body. They will simply place the dead body, at the highway or, as such public places, and they will demonstrate. They will have the protest. Because when you have the dead body in front of you, people, they are filled with lot of emotions, So the protest, it can spread like wildfire when you have the dead body in front of you. And that is why in such situations, the very first job of the administrator is that last rite should be done as soon as possible. Because as long as a dead body is there, it will inspire or provoke emotions only. And because of that, people may be seething with anger and they may not be able to understand things properly, or they may not be able to have proper communication with the administration. They may indulge in violent protest also. And that is the first thing that the administration tries to do, that last rite should be done as soon as possible. So, you talk about that, you talk about a Sherni movie in which the DFO had to assuage a lot of people that no, that is not the solution, killing is not the solution. So conflict management, yes. अब कोई कहाँ हुआ था वो कोई केस डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते ना, अभी आप हाजरस का बात करोगे, किसी का बात करोगे, आई नॉट डिस्कसिंग द केस, यूजुअली दिस इज द प्रैक्टिस. अब कोई कैसे कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा वो अलग चीज है, बट यूजुअली you need to understand that as long as the dead body is there, it will provoke emotions only. Even when the people who may not know many things, if they are presented with a dead body, even they will start, seething with anger only. So that is the job of the administration, that to diffuse the situation, that last rite should be done as soon as possible. That is the usual tactics that is there. And emotional intelligence helps you in that, in making things calm, and persuading the family member of the victim that, we should do the last rite and so and so. So it helps. Then grievance redressal. When you are on field visit, emotional intelligence helps you in understanding the real problem of the people, and then definitely you will indulge in grievance redressal, the true grievances. Inclusiveness. We saw that since our bureaucracy, we have inherited that bureaucracy, that set up from colonial administration, and that is why this My Baap culture is there. And this My Baap culture is there, and that culture will never allow you to actually form great bond with the people. For that, you need to be emotionally intelligent. Then only you can inculcate attitudinal change. I think we talked about social reforms, that at times implementation of social reforms demand a lot of social capital, a lot of emotional intelligence, because when you are indulging in social reforms, in many of those reforms, you will not have political support, because it will make the politicians unpopular among the people. So that is why you must have a lot of dedication to public service and emotional intelligence to do that. You talk about midday meal, I think this incident was there in which students refused to eat the food that was cooked by the Dalit cook. The collector, he himself went there and, sat alongside the students and ate the food that was cooked by the Dalit cook. So he demonstrated through his behavior, and it is a hallmark of the emotionally intelligent bureaucrat. You talk about encounters. The administration which indulges in fake encounters, are they not acting on impulses? Are they not acting on lot of emotions rather than following the pragmatic law, pragmatism, or the principle of natural justice? Let me ask you, suppose some heinous crime has happened against a woman. Yes? Suppose the heinous crime has happened against the woman, then how many of you support that, there should be encounter of that person? Gaadi palat jani chahiye uski. How many of you support that notion? Of course, that is what we feel whenever any of such events happen. How many of you support that encounter should happen, because instant justice will come? बताओ भाई कितने लोग, हाथ खड़ा करो अच्छे से. और बाकी लोग, आप नहीं करते? So basically, when we have such demands, in this Hyderabad case, when in this encounter was also done, when we have such demand, it creates more problem than it solves. I will give you the example. I think in one of the school in NCR, one child was, killed. One student was killed and I think raped also. I don't remember the exact detail, but he was killed. And there was allegation that that a crime was committed by driver. And if suppose we had done the encounter of that person, perhaps we would feel that the justice has been done, understood or not. Perhaps we will feel that. But later it was revealed that that crime was committed by some other student, not the driver. Now, if you have suppose indulged in the fake encounter already, can you bring the life of that person back? But you were acting on emotions only. You were not pragmatic when you were asking for the justice. You were driven by the emotions. And that is the problem that can be created, that a hurried justice is a buried justice. If you are bypassing the due process, it may actually result into injustice. Now, how many boys were raising the hand? वो हाथ खड़ा करें. In the same example, suppose you are going in a metro. Of course, you are going in a metro and it is crowded. It is crowded like anything. You are barely able to stand and everyone is standing next to each other because it is too crowded. And somehow, because of the jerk of metro, somehow, a girl who is standing very next to you, she feels that you have inappropriately touched her. Suppose that happened, that the girl feel that you have inappropriately touched her, but you have not done that. She feels that somehow because of anything, and she started, screaming. What will happen? What will happen? If suppose that happened in the old Rajendra Nagar, in this market, what will happen? What is the most likely scenario that is there? You will be beaten up. Yes, people will come and beat you. Your fellow friends, they will also come and beat you. The rickshaw wala, who are going nearby, they will also stop and, entertain themselves. So, swift justice will be done. Now, what is your reaction? You are not even given chance to explain yourself that you did not even touch her. What? Now do you support that the person should be, encountered? Now do you support that? In the same situation. Because that is what usually happens in those allegations. That person has done, kill him. There is a due process of that. So if you are just putting the blame on some without fair investigation and everything, then you are not doing justice. How many examples we have seen in which, we talk about all these police officers, at times, the new brides, they go to the police station and then they will lodge complaints against husband, father-in-law that they are torturing her for dowry. And if suppose that officer, of course he has to act by law and everything, and that law is very stringent, I am telling you. How will you feel? You are recently married and your wife is running next day to the police station, screaming from your house only, and the neighbors are thinking, what you have done. How will you feel? All the reputation that you have built for 20, 30 years have gone for a toss because she is screaming. And suppose those neighbors take the law into their own hand, what will happen? If they deliver the instant justice, what will happen? Now, do you support instant justice? And suppose that police officer, of course, he has to act by law, and he also does not listen to you. Then what will happen? Just imagine that. Of course, you will be jailed because the provisions are like that only. They are bit against men in the favor of women for the fault of man only. But suppose he also does not listen to you. He also, gets carried away by the emotion of the women. ये तो अच्छे से रो रही हैं तो मारा ही होगा इनको तो. And all these marks are also there on our body. And बस jail करो इनको तो. So that person has to be emotionally intelligent. And that is why you see, whenever you go, a true police officer, whenever any complainant go to that officer, he will only listen to that person very carefully. He will not be carried away by the only one version of the incident. He will always ask for the second side. Always ask for the second side, and then he will make the judgment. And that is the true hallmark of an emotionally intelligent leader, that he listens to the both sides. He is not carried away by the emotion कि महिला रो रही है तो सही होगी. No, he has to verify that. Understood or not? So that is what, the fake encounters and everything, all these things are against justice. They are not for justice. And only an emotion intelligent bureaucrat, suppose a police officer is chasing a criminal for so many years. He has been evading them and somehow they get a shot at him. But if that person is taking the decision in that splits of second, then he should be mindful of rule of law. He should be able to control the emotions. ऐसा नहीं है ठोक दो बहुत सालों से परेशान कर रहा है. It should not be the case. So only emotional intelligence will help you in remaining calm in those situations. So that is why, ultimately, emotional intelligence helps you in all the attributes of good governance. Understood or not? Understood how important emotional intelligence is? Let us talk about that. Yes? It's a great example of emotional intelligence. This lady, she helped the person who were victim of accident. She stopped her, I think, vehicle and sent them to hospital. Instead of making a video of them, she actually helped them. So that is a great example of emotional intelligence. Understood? And similarly, this is not the great example of emotional intelligence. The curfew was imposed and after in lockdown, and somehow the DM Saab lost his cool and slapped that person. He was transferred and suspended also, I think. So that is not the great example of emotional intelligence. This is the great example of emotional intelligence. Osmanabad collector, a person with disability, came to meet him. And he sat on the ground alongside him to make him more comfortable. That is what great people do. They make other people comfortable. So that is a great example of emotional intelligence. Understood or not? Yes? अब डाउट देख लेते हैं. एनी डाउट? ऊपर थोड़ा कर दीजिए. Osmanabad collector. He is Osmanabad collector. Osmanabad. Sir, few years back in Pune, one person killed his wife and took her head to police station. How one should manage this situation using EI? What should I answer? That is a story for Crime Patrol. I think UPSC will not ask you such question. The story that I just, told you in the beginning of the class, that you should not hair split things. It is equally applicable to you also. It is not that unfortunately, he was under the radar for asking the similar questions. It is equally applicable to you also. How do we manage that situation? What he did was immoral, unethical, illegal, everything. And of course, he will face the consequence of that. How we can manage? You cannot manage. Government will manage now. नीचे ऊपर दिखाई. Okay. Only when you have EI. Only when you have EI will you follow due process of law, then delivering instant justice. Yes, because emotional intelligence will help you in curbing your own emotions also. Because at times, as policemen, you are also seething with anger. How many of you have seen Ganga Jal? Ganga Jal, what they do, actually that is wrong. So they also feel the emotions. Niche. Sir, what is my baap attitude? My baap attitude is like that only. I think I discussed that yesterday also in the context of colonial attitude. In the closed, I think someone asked me this question, closed system. I think I should explain this again. See, in the closed system, basically what is happening, the bureaucracy is taking decision by itself. It is making the law, bureaucracy and politician, of course, the government I am telling, they are making the laws, policies, implementing all the schemes for beneficiary. They are not even consulting the citizens. We are like kings, If you are getting any benefits, then you should consider it, our benevolence only. So they have this attitude that they are doing some ihsan on you by doing something good, by giving you any subsidy or any benefit of any policy. So that attitude, and actually it was there. Earlier, the top-down model of, policy making was there. All the policy making was done at top level only. Only after decentralization, there was a role of panchayats and everything. So the closed system is that only that you are not participating with citizens. So basically, citizens are not able to ask any question. They are not able to participate in policy making, implementation, monitoring, everything. So that is why citizen charter, social audit, RTI. When you give any suggestion to the government for policy or law making, all these are examples for open government only or participative democracy only. So when you have this closed system, basically you are having this my baap attitude. My बाप attitude का मतलब you are being paternalistic in nature. Paternalistic, you understand? That this is what is good for you. And we will decide that, you will not decide that. So that is the my baap culture. Understood or not? The person who has asked this question, have you understood this or not? Can you just... Isha, have you understood now? Yes. Emotional intelligence can be between human and animals also. It is about emotional intelligence have 5 components. Social awareness. So social awareness, you are taking into consideration of everyone actually, their emotions as well. So yes, animals also. Yes, Supriya. How good governance will benefit from EI? Every other attribute that we have just discussed are attribute of good governance only. When you are having emotional intelligence, you are more compassionate, you understand the problems of people, you try to solve them, you make them partner in the governance. So the participatory governance will be there rather than you acting from my baap attitude and deciding everything for the public. That is how the attribute of good governance will be there when you are having emotional intelligence. Understood or not? This is from MP, Madhya Pradesh. Chhattisgarh. This is from Chhattisgarh. Armchair approach an example of, yes, armchair approach an example of closed system only, where you are taking decision in an armchair method, yes. How to apply emotional intelligence in administration के लिए ये point आएंगे या stress management, anger management, self restraint. How application of EI in administration will have these points. Application of EI in administration will have these points, and you will divide your answer with respect to their relationship with public, with respect to managing subordinates, with respect to managing their colleagues within work culture, and individually also. That how EI will help you individually in maintaining work-life balance and everything. So that is how you will divide. I have divided that for you only. Yes, just like king decide what is good for, what is bad for the kingdom, that is the attribute of my baap culture or colonial attitude of bureaucracy, because there is no participation from the people. Is it the cause of huge dependency of cash and that drives them? Abhilasha, actually it's a combination of both only, since people believe that the justice will not be done, because it will go on to years, the case will go on and on for years and years. So they don't believe actually that the justice will be done. So delayed justice is also, justice delayed is justice denied. So that is, of course, this plus charge and emotional environment, they both of them drive towards the instant justice, but that is equally wrong. I will show PPT. I will show the PPT. So now, any other doubt, online walo? Any other doubt? The 5 attribute helps build EI, or these 5 attributes basically means they are these axes of EI, they are component of EI. Okay, if I am saying that Udit, you are the person with emotional intelligence, that my assumption is that you know yourself, you know the society around you, the people around you, you are able to understand their problem, you have that emotional quotient, and then you are able to manage your emotion and the emotions of the others, and you are self-motivated. So based on these parameters, you will see, that whether you are emotionally intelligent or not. The topic relationship with public would come under the utility of EI. Definitely, utility of EI is with respect to public. Yes, definitely. I have made that a separate heading so that you understand that that is how you will write your answer. Because if I do not give you any structure to think, then you will struggle to write a good number of points in the actual examination. So the structure I have given you, first you need to think at individual level, that how EI helps you in anger management, work-life management, everything, remaining integral. B, how you are managing yourself in the work environment, in the work culture, colleagues, hierarchy, everything. C, how you are managing with respect to public. So when I'm talking about public, I'm not just talking about public only, public, private sector, NGO, everything. Understood? So application of EI in administration and governance. Understood? Sir, EI can have negative consequences also. मैंने starting में बोला आपको ये. I don't have any more chocolate to give you. Starting only I told you, I will discuss that, don't worry. Motivation component of EI is about self-motivation, not motivation. Yes, motivation of other definitely is part of relationship management. How else you will bring the best out of your subordinate? It is part of that only, relationship management. The motivation, the component that was there, it is mostly about your individual motivation, your ability to delay the gratification and remain motivated in charged atmosphere. Okay, I think any other doubt? Oh. Yes, Maibab culture, this is a proper term, you can write it. The arrogant behavior of the bureaucrat, that is what you can write. Understood, everyone? Everyone understood? आगे चलें? आपको ये दिखाना था, I think, ना? You have to take photos also. मैं ऐसे ग्रुप पे अपील करूंगा, तुम जहां भी हो लौट आओ, वो जो दूसरा बंदा है कोई तुमसे कुछ नहीं कहेगा. वो लापता की अपील नहीं होती है. उसका दोस्त भी था, वो दोस्त भी नहीं आया क्या? दोनों ही नहीं आए. Done? How to quote 4-5, just like that only. The FDM, sending her own car for the accident victim, just like that. That is the example of emotional intelligence. In the, I think, 5-6 words only you have quoted yourself. Very heavy words. EI is the emotional conjunction of intellectual integrity. Don't become philosopher. Done? Done? So these are some important case studies. The next question comes that how to inculcate EI, because that is where the question will come, that can emotional intelligence be inculcated? So there are some great case studies. In this particular police department, they have hired a cognitive neuroscientist, and it helps them in repetitive mental exercise so that their performance improves in terms of decision making. It prevents them from making a split-second decision based on their biases. So basically, so that they act rationally and not emotionally. Okay, so this particular exercise is there in this department, and you can quote it. So that you are in those split-second decisions. You are not driven by the emotions or biases. Understood or not? So that is what you can write. Similarly, this problem-based learning, in California police is a modernized training approach that include emotional intelligence. That is what also you can quote. This New York NYPD police department uses a de-escalation technique to diffuse emotionally charged situation, so that you need not maximize the use of force, so that you can minimize the use of force. So all these examples in different countries, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, UK, in all such countries, you talk about that how emotional intelligence is an important part of police training initiatives. So basically, in police, the situation often is very stressful. It's a 24/7 job, and that is why you need to remain calm. That is what that you need to understand. So these are the good case studies that you can use in terms of how emotional intelligence can be, how it has been inculcated by different institutes. Understood? So now let us learn that how EI can be inculcated. Now the answer, the real answer. These are the examples where it has been done. That is what you will use in terms of case studies. And these are the techniques to enhance emotional intelligence. And first important aspect is self-assessment, because self-awareness is very much important. Okay, so the tools like emotional competence inventory, some parameters are given based on which you are supposed to evaluate yourself. And that is how it helps you in terms of proper self-assessment. So by having this honest self-assessment, it actually helps you in becoming more aware about yourself. So this keyword you must write emotional competence inventory by DOPT, to encourage self-assessment. Then mentorship and coaching, anger management and all these workshops that are there, Then feedback mechanism. In Maharashtra, there is this 360-degree feedback mechanism, that helps you in terms of improving your EI. By this 360-degree feedback, you are getting perspective of different stakeholders, different people, and that is how you are able to gather better social awareness, because you are getting the perspective of different people, from different perspective. That is 360-degree, feedback. Then role-playing exercises that are there in various academies, you talk about all these academies, role-playing exercises are there. You get to play the role of different people, and by playing those roles, you become, sensitive towards the issues. I will give you an example. You would have seen various actors, whenever they play the role of a certain character, suppose transgender, suppose a person with disability, something like that, then they often undertake this training in which they put themselves into that situation so that they can act very naturally, so that they can understand their perspective, because it is their role that they are going to depict on the larger screen. Understood or not? Yes, so that is how role-playing methods also helps you. So role-playing methods, sensitivity training, this is what you need to understand. Then sensitivity training, the great example is there that Justice Venkatesh, he himself educated on LGBT community before delivering judgment. So basically that is how, he made himself sensitive towards the issues of LGBT community before he decided to pronounce judgment for them. Bharat Darshan is another great example of that, in which you are sensitized with respect to problems of the different communities. Sensitized. Understood? Sensitized. Yes, so these are the various techniques which are actually used by the administration. These are the real life example. This is also real life example like Maharashtra and Sardar Vallabhbhai Academy. So basically that is how you inculcate emotional intelligence. But a broader example would talk about that, initially if you have to really inculcate emotional intelligence, then you have to intervene early. Your parenting style has to be emotionally supportive. You must encourage your children to help others, to cooperate with each other. Perhaps you will want them, that they should have this habitual practice of self-introspection. They should be emotionally literate about themselves. They should understand their emotions. Because at times, the child may not know what he or she is experiencing. And that is why, the person should be, you may consult them yourself, or you can make them consult the professional in terms of emotional literacy, that you truly understand what you are going through. The people who are going through depression and mental health, crisis, they take the professional help because they want to understand what they are going through. Because self-awareness is the first step towards emotional intelligence. So that is why you have to start early. And parents, they can take their children to orphan houses to make them understand that, their perspective, that how important, the role of emotions are at times. When you actually go there and make people realize the importance of what they are having, the privileges that they are having, then actually you understand the perspective of others also, that perhaps, they are hungry, and, then you understand their hunger, then you understand their problem. So when you do all such widgets, it helps you in terms of becoming better socially aware about that. Then managing emotion. This is intervene early at a childhood level, building awareness, emotional literacy, because without that self-awareness will not be there. Social awareness will also be there unless you understand the emotions. I think I gave you the example of Deepika, yes? that she was not able to, cope up with the anxiety. So, because I have seen that for so many years, that is very much natural to me, but for her it may not be that natural. Yes? So, the emotional literacy helps you in that. Then managing emotion, and ultimately it boils down to the individual, that how they are managing their emotion. If you are doing meditation and yoga, it helps you in terms of managing your emotions. Divergent. You talk about Viren Sehwag. I'm sure you must have heard of the interview of him, and he says that whenever he was facing fastball or something like that, that he will often sing a song for himself, so as to remain himself calm during those situations. So basically, that is your way to manage your emotion. You may be having deep breath, you may start hitting the gym, or you may start the reverse counting. There can be different ways to actually see the same thing. Some people make the fun of themselves, to diffuse the situation, to ensure that that they are able to regulate their emotions. So that is what different people adopt different techniques to manage the situations. You go to this interview, UPSC interview. When you go to UPSC interview, often then you are made to sit in a common hall that is there, and after that, the person come, and when it is your turn, you are made to sit on a chair that is there just outside the office, the member's office. Those few minutes, I am telling you, are the most anxious moment, and that is when I see I myself started doing that only, Anulom Vilom and everything. All the people who sit on that chair, they start taking deep breaths, because those are the real moments of anxiety. Because you are having you are having a lot at stake when you are sitting on that chair. So basically, everyone has their own methods of diffusing their emotions, that how they are managing their anxiety and anger. So basically, this is what helps in terms of regulation of emotions. Understood or not? Then some people may be driven by role models, that what your role model would have done in such situation, and then that is what they want to emulate. You talk about Dhoni being so calm under such stressful situations. Then you would like to perhaps emulate that person when you are under similar stressful situations, role models. Understood or not? Then goal orientation, You talk about goal orientation. Goal orientation simply means whenever you are doing something, you should know what is it at the topmost priority. When you are SP, when you are managing the crowd, at times you may just feel like, bhaiya chala do goli. Let us have the firing and it will diffuse the situation immediately. But then you have to control that, because otherwise there will be consequence of that action. And you need to remember that public service should be the topmost priority. It cannot be your own personal revenge on that person. So, public service versus goal orientation, you should have the right orientation, and that right orientation will help you in becoming emotion intelligent. You talk about these 4 ashrams that were there, yes, brahmacharya, grastha and everything. So in brahmacharya ashram, you are supposed to not indulge in worldly pleasures. So you are supposed to regulate your emotions, because your goal orientation is right. You know what is your primary goal. Similarly, in your situation, you are supposed to study and everything. So you should know what is your primary goal. Understood or not? So goal orientation is very, very important. Then character, habitual actions, that character. And character is that you believe that what you do consistently become part of your trait. Character. Then religious teachings also helps a lot, Nishkam Karma, Buddha's Madhyam Marg. If you are truly a religious person, then it also helps you. It also helps you. If you are having a lot of anxiety and you believe in karma, you believe in Gita, then you will perhaps, say that to yourself, that perhaps I should focus on doing my duty and let the, result take care of themselves. So religious teaching also helps you in remaining emotionally intelligent. You talk about karuna, the teaching of Buddhism, that you should have compassion. So that is about becoming more socially aware about the emotions of others. Madhyam Marg, that talks about that you should not be too extreme. You should have the middle path. That is another example of becoming emotionally intelligent. Then this role of media, I think we discussed that, role of media. Yes, role of media. You talk about Satyamev Jayate, at times you will see in Satyamev Jayate that, there are various stories, when we saw those episodes, even we also cried, along with the audience, because those stories were so moving. We got to know the plight of such different communities, different villages, and what those people have done. So basically, media is a great way. I think we discussed observation learning through migrant crisis. Media is a great way to sensitize people about different people's suffering. Ultimately, what the eyes do not see, the heart does not agree about. And media makes us see those things. It makes us more socially aware, more aware about the problems different people are facing. And in the context of bureaucracy, you can also write code of ethics and code of conduct also helps you in terms of becoming emotionally intelligent. Understood or not? Yes? So this is what you need to write if the question is how to inculcate emotional intelligence. In administration, then you may remove this part, intervene early and all this part, and you may start directly with this. If the question is general, that how to inculcate emotional intelligence, then you divide your answer at different level. At family level, then at bureaucratic and at administrative level. Then you give these examples also, and then you talk about all these practices that will help you in terms of inculcation of emotional intelligence. Understood or not? And you please remember these case studies so that you can fetch great marks. Please note it. From here only, I think you will note it. Previous slide. I think this one. All of you have understood this? Different techniques. Yes? अरे online वालों, yes? समझ में आ गया? They are busy taking photos. Both can be different. You know the answer. Coaching may not employ sensitive training for that matter. You may take the professional help for that matter. Mentorship, it may not have. I'm telling you, it may not have those techniques. That is how it is different. Please remove the slide bar. Which bar? क्या करना है? अच्छा, this ये कैसे जाएगा भाई? I mean the mechanism through which you are taking the feedback from different people, and that is how you become better aware A about yourself, B about their concern. Yeah, second ERC is performance appraisal actually, from the perspective of performance appraisal. Just like inclusion of value will divide the answer rule of family society. It depends upon the question actually. It depends upon the question, but you can divide your answer. That how administration can help, how family can help, you can divide your answer, but actually it will depend upon question. How many of you will be giving your first attempt in the next year? First attempt next year. Second attempt? Third attempt? More than 2 mains? More than 2 mains. Nice. Done? तो बताओ ना फिर. This is about making children more, socially aware about the problem of others so that they understand their. You need not read second ARC full, you can simply go through the summary. Done? This is the character, that habitual building of character. For example, you have to practice non-violence. I talked about Gandhiji. Then to practice non-violence, that perspective also involves that from mentally also you should not think bad about others, and that requires a lot of control over emotions. So when you believe in having sound character, you automatically inculcate emotional intelligence. So that is the example of Gandhiji. You talk about all these things, that how he had forgiven people who attacked him in South Africa. So that forgiveness require a lot of emotional intelligence. Code of conduct and code of ethics helps in EI. Code of ethics will ask you you that you should be compassionate towards people. That of course will involve EI. Code of conduct will ask you that you should not take, let's say, bribe from other people. So that is how you should control your desires, or desire for pleasures. Code of conduct will ask you that you should not enjoy lavish hospitality from the people, and lavish hospitality will give you so much of pleasure, emotions. Yes, so you need to control that. So that is how it will inculcate emotional intelligence in you. Understood, Aisha? Isha, understood? Those who ask question online, please always reply whether they have understood or not. ये हो गया? I think now let us talk about that why there is a contemporary concerns with respect to EI. Same content was there, only the photos changed. How to apply EI in administration में inculcation वाला पॉइंट भी डालना है क्या सर? प्रगति जी, आपको कौन सा अटेम्प्ट होगा अभी होने जो वाला है 2025 वाला? सेकेंड अटेम्प्ट. ओके, देन इट विल डिपेंड अपॉन द क्वेश्चन ना. क्वेश्चन में पूछेगा तो इनकलकेशन करना है, तो इतना एलोबरेट कवरेज देना है. नहीं पूछेगा तो इट विल बी पार्ट ऑफ कंक्लूजन ओनली. एंड आई थिंक आई हैव डिस्कस सो मेनी टाइम्स, वी विल डिस्कस दैट इन सेक्शन आंसर राइटिंग. अंडरस्टूड? हाउ टू अप्लाई EI, एप्लीकेशन ऑफ EI एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में तो वही डालेंगे जो पहले डिस्कस हुआ है. So now, but there are some contemporary concerns that because we have, so much of exposure to mobile screen, so much of access to, digital overload is there, and because of that, we may not have, human interactions. We may not have emotional interactions with the people, and that may limit development of emotional intelligence. I think we had discussed in the context of children also that at family level, you will often see that if the child is crying, the parents will give them mobile phone to play with. In the context of family, because of delayed marriage and because of shrinking size of family, the question that was there this year, demographic winter, because of one child norm that is there, the child may not have any sibling to play with. The child may not have many friends to play with, and because of that, it may limit the human interaction of that child, and that is why he may be more comfortable in dealing with gadgets, all these things, and because of that, he may not develop emotional intelligence. He may not develop emotional quotient in the first place. Understood or not? Similarly, because of information overload, you may be having a lot of stress and anxiety that may hinder, emotional intelligence, development of emotional intelligence. Yesterday only I was watching this reel, I think, this interview actually of Amir Khan, and he was saying that since when I left the mobile, I had got so much of free time that now I am able to think more creatively, because mobile phones take a lot of our time. And this is a thing that I discussed with my family also, that how this is very much relevant to us also, that we are glued to mobile all the time, and that is how it is consuming our space, in which we are not able to think very independently. Our attention span, it has reduced so much that we are not able to sit properly for 1 hour or 2 hours at times. Of that, because of the shorts and reels, because of that. Understood or not? So that is if you do not have that much of attention span, how will you delay the gratification? How will you have the motivation? So because of this information overload, because of this stress and anxiety, we may not get time to actually practice those things which are more relevant to us in the context of inculcation of emotional intelligence. Then, because of online harassment and cyberbullying, many people may face, lot of anxiety and a lot of question on self-esteem. They may develop, low confidence, and because of that, they may not feel very comfortable in interaction with human beings. How will they develop social awareness in the first place if they do not feel comfortable in interaction with the people? Because, they have faced harassment and so many things. Then at times, when we go to Instagram and social media sites, there is often comparisons that are there because people post only one side of their life, the happy side of their life. Men create that happy side of their life, even when it is not there. And that actually lead to so much of comparison. Your friends, from the same college batchmate, they might be having a lot of good time. You, on the other hand, are having this pure air in Delhi, and listening to me, unfortunately. So basically, you are not actually enjoying with respect to that, and you may feel bad about yourself that what I am doing and so on and so forth. And because of that, the emotions that you are experiencing, that I've got only 1 like and 5 like, that social comparison, all these things can actually lead to the problems of emotional intelligence. Similarly, the political polarization that is there, the hate that is being inculcated, because of political mileage that a political masters wants to get, electoral gains that they want to get, because of that, we become intolerant. And when we become intolerant, how can we truly understand the problems of others? How can we truly empathize with the problem of others? Understood or not? So, political polarization and intolerance that is there. Then work-life balance is one of the important problems that people are facing. A lot of emphasis on work is there. Because of that, they are not able to give time, for themselves in the context of family relationships, in the context of yoga, meditation. That will actually make them more sane. That will actually make them more calm. So work-life balance is very much important. And that is the reason you are not having class on Saturday and Sunday. This is the first time in my all the years of teaching that I have stopped taking, first time from your batch only I am implementing that I will not have class on Saturday and Sunday now. Because it was taking a lot of toll on me. All these reactions that you are seeing, it is because of that only. So basically, to be sane, to be in right frame of mind, it is important that you have work-life balance. That is very important. Then mental health challenge crises are there, and because of that, anxiety, depression, so many things people are facing. Then how will they develop emotional intelligence? Another important aspect. These are the theoretical criticism actually with respect to emotional intelligence. These are the practical aspect, that there is no standardized assessment. Just like IQ, you can measure IQ. It is very difficult to measure EQ. So there is no standardized assessment, and also there is lack of standardized training modules that is there. Many people will ask you that we conduct all these courses, that you can inspire people, leadership courses are there, anger management courses are there, but there is not much standardization that is there. So that is some theoretical argument. This has some practical aspect, but this is mostly theoretical, and rest of it is more practical version, that why we are not having lot of emotional intelligence in our society. So that is a contemporary perspective that we are having towards emotional intelligence. Understood or not? Online walo, understood or not? That is what this concern you can always discuss in the context of writing the answer. Of course, the question will demand that what we will include, but that is what we should have. Last 2 points were basically just like you can measure IQ. There are IQ tests that measure your IQ. 130 score, 140 score, 80 score, something like that. So basically, there are some tests based on which you can measure your IQ. Similar standardized tests are not there in the context of emotional intelligence. That was the first point. Second point was that lack of standardized training module. You will find many courses that leadership skills, courses are there. In many private organizations, you will do that. But there is no standard method of training in the context of emotional intelligence. Understood? How social comparison affects EI, because when you start, when you believe in your life, when you decide the self-worth of yourself based on social comparison, that person has got so many likes, so many comments, and I'm nobody, something like that, then it actually affects you. It actually affects your well-being, your own understanding about yourself, and then it affects that the aspect of emotional intelligence, because you are under depression, you are having this anxiety because of this comparison and everything. That's how it affects development of emotional intelligence. I'm not aware about that case. Done?
Sir, how can we write the explanation of how work-life?
In work-life imbalance, I mean, to the language, it is clear that work-life imbalance, you are stressed, you are anxiety, you are under anxiety. See, what were the suggestions that we gave that how we can inculcate EI, yoga, meditation. So if you are having lot of work, you will not give time to that you will not have exposure to the problem of diverse people. Hey Bhagwan, sometimes my doubts go unanswered. Arey bhaiya, I am going through every doubt. How you are saying that? अरे इनका ऊपर करना जरा, दिखाना और कौन सा डाउट अनआंसर्ड गया है, दिखाना ऊपर, स्टार्टिंग से दिखाओ। इनका नाम देखते हैं, कितनी बार इन्होंने डाउट पूछा है आज। अरे ऐसे लोग फिर फ़ोन करते हैं, बोलते हैं यहाँ पे कि मैं डाउट नहीं देख रहा। हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? स्टार्टिंग से दिखाइए कितने डाउट हैं। If I am answering everyone's doubt, then you can simply copy paste again, because there is a limited window that is visible to me. If there are 5 to 8 doubts, I will see only 5 doubts. वो नीचे आता है तो मिस हो जाता है कई बार। Then you ask again and again, what is the problem? नीचे ले आइए, पता नहीं कहाँ पूछा है इन्होंने डाउट, आप दोबारा पूछ लीजिए। जिन्होंने भी ये लिखा है, प्लीज आस्क अगेन। Yes, Anjali, you can write that, but that will not be a good point to write in the actual examination. Sir, I asked only one doubt today, sir. तो फिर आप क्यों कह रहे हैं ऐसा? और कितनी बार पूछा आपने डाउट? इनको स्क्रीनशॉट भेज सकते हैं क्या इसका विंडो का? एक बार इसकी इनको खुद को एक बार भेजिए इनको, ताकि समझें कि मुझे कितना दिखाई देता है यहाँ से। अगर 5-6 लाइन का डाउट है तो मुझे लास्ट की एक लाइन दिखाई देती है, और फिर मुझे वो 3-4 डाउट आ जाएंगे तो चला जाएगा आपका डाउट ऊपर। तो यू नीड टू कॉपी पेस्ट अगेन योर डाउट। What is the difference between bureaucratic and administrative dimension? Bureaucratic and generally bureaucracy and administration, usually it is same only, but bureaucracy we talk about from the perspective of Bavarian bureaucracy. And administration is a very generic term. It is applicable to even private organization and even to public organization. A private administration, may not have bureaucratic characteristic. For example, someone is running kirana store. Then he is administering his own store. He is managing the logbook and everything. But that particular private organization, that particular private entity may not have the characteristic of Bavarian bureaucracy, like division of labor, because he himself is managing all the things. It is small store that is there. But it is administrative dimension, not bureaucratic dimension. So when we are talking about bureaucracy, we are talking about Bavarian bureaucracy, Bavarian characteristic that is usually applicable to large organization. So in the context of government, bureaucratic dimension and administrative dimension is usually same, because government have bureaucratic dimension only, and that is also the same as administrative dimension. I hope now you have understood. Please ask again if you have not understood. Can we add another dimension in EI with respect to IR, like NAM, waiver towards NPT? Yes, you can do that. But this context is Sir, EI helps in individual ethical decision making. Sir, EI helps in individual ethical decision making due to self-awareness only, or more points are there? कितने points पढ़ाए आपको? कितने सारे points तो आपको लिखा दिए? Still you are asking the same question. I don't know. What should I answer you? ऊपर करिए एक बार. विकास, कब है आपका अटेम्प्ट? व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग योर अटेम्प्ट? सर, कोग्निटिव का मतलब समझा दीजिए। कोग्निटिव का मतलब ही समझ नहीं आ रहा। दिस इज फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट। कोग्निटिव मीन्स समथिंग दैट रिलेट्स विद योर इंटेलेक्चुअल फैकल्टी, आपका दिमाग, दैट इज कोग्निटिव एस्पेक्ट। Cognition is that. Cognition is when you register something. In the context of sympathy, we said that yes, we are taking cognizance of what you are suffering, and that is why we feel pity for you. So that is sympathy. It is mostly cognitive aspect, that we are simply registering that thing in our mind. That is cognitive aspect. It basically relates to your mind. That is cognition. Understood or not? Vikas, understood or not? Any other doubt? Divya, please ask your doubt again and again. Okay, in case I miss, I think if so many people post their doubt at the same time, it is obvious I cannot see many of them. The chat window, only 4 or 5 messages are visible at a point of time. So you have to post it again and again till it is noticed. Yes. चले आगे? Yes? Okay. So this all of you have been waiting for. That सबका यही मन था, सर यही बताओ नेगेटिवली हुआ कि नहीं होगा. From the beginning only people were asking this question only. आगे आपका फेवरेट टॉपिक. तभी सीखें EI, नहीं तो नहीं सीखेंगे. So basically, emotional intelligence is the mere ability. Yes, it is your ability. Think of EI as an ability that you can manage your emotions. You know, even if you are seething with anger, you know, even if you are utterly frustrated, you know, then only you are smiling with respect to other people. Yes, so yes, that is emotional intelligence. You know, even if you understand other people, their concerns so well, that is social awareness, and you are able to manage the relationship, you are able to motivate them, you are able to manipulate them, and that is also the application of EI only. So the person with a lot of emotional intelligence, he or she will be able to motivate other people. For what kind of reasons? It depends upon the morality of that person. He can motivate them for wrong things also. He can motivate them for right thing also. Simply because he is having lot of persuasion power, lot of persuasion skill. Understood or not? So that is EI. So EI is just the ability, and it can be misused also. So all the terrorists, you know, when they show all these doctor videos, you know, that the women from your communities are not treated that good, you know, so many heinous crimes are done against the women from your community, and how you are staying silent. So such kind of videos are shared usually, and they are usually doctored videos, manufactured videos. So basically they are inciting their emotions, they are inciting their hate against other community. So because they know very well that that is how they can manipulate them. You know, all these terrorists, when they are telling the people that when you commit jihad, you will go to, you know, Jannah, you know, you will get all these hoods and everything. So basically they are so emotionally intelligent. The people who are doing that, they have this ability that they will make the other terrorists believe in this reality that actually you will be going to heaven if you just, you know, bomb yourself. So you imagine EI from the perspective of that ability, that it is simply the ability, that you can do anything basically with respect to that. So when terrorists are brainwashing you, you know, the people, when they are brainwashing other people, they are using this ability. The leader, the true leader, the ethical leader, they will make you believe in the good thing, that yes, we should get independence like Gandhiji. They will make you believe that we should conserve our environment. Yes, that is what they will believe. But the leader, they will make you believe that your community is under threat because of other community, and that is why you should take revenge from that community. That the religion has written it for you, that you should commit the sacrifice and then you will go to heaven. And then they will believe in that. So basically, these people are so emotionally intelligent that they are able to manipulate with the emotion of others. And that is why I told you that EI can be misused also. All these leaders, you know, you talk about Hitler. Now Hitler was very much emotionally intelligent. He was able to manipulate. Who do you think? Only Hitler was responsible for the genocide? The German people were also responsible for the genocide because they were actually, you know, participating in that because they believed that, you know, Hitler is doing that for rebirth of Germany. That's how cleverly he diverted his racial prejudice towards national interest. And that is the common sign of autocratic leader, that they divert their wrongdoing in the name of nation. That for national interest we are doing that. For national interest we are doing that. And then they will justify so many wrong things, and they will make people believe that they are doing it for themselves. They are doing it for nation only, not for themselves. So that's how clever they are. So that is why I am telling you, emotional intelligence is that. Have you not seen all these religious leader speeches, you know, who indulge in hate speech? One particular leader is there who is now in, Pakistan recently. Yes, yes. And he speaks so much of venom against India and other community, so much of venom. But he speaks so ferociously that if you listen to that person, you would like to believe in that person. That is simply the ability of emotional intelligence that is at the display. That he will make you believe in what he is saying. All the religious leaders, the Babas, they are able to manipulate the emotions of others because they know that religion is like opium. The people get intoxicated by that. So they will make them believe so that they will not even question the religious leaders and their action. And that is how they get away with what they are doing. So all these people are emotionally, the person who is not emotionally intelligent, how he can manipulate other people? Because to manipulate other people, you need to understand what they want, what their emotions are, and only you can manipulate them. So they are really emotionally intelligent, but they are misusing their ability. Now have you understood that being emotionally intelligent does not automatically make you ethical? It is simply an ability, just like an ability of, let's say, coding or hacking. Hacking is an ability. Either you can do the ethical hacking or you can do the unethical hacking. Hacking is simply the ability. So emotional intelligence is also simply the ability. It depends upon you whether you are using that for hate speech or to incite, conflict between two community. Have you not seen, in the various movies, all these leaders when they portray the role of, you talk about Jinnah. Now, Jinnah was able to manipulate entire community. That you will not be safe in India if you remain in India. You have to leave India if you are a true Muslim. So he was able to convince entire community, most of the community. So that's how powerful he was with respect to emotional intelligence. That's how powerful his speeches were. You understand that now? All these religious leaders, who are now in jail, they are able to manipulate the emotions of others. One particular leader is there, religious leader is there, and if you just listen to the question, of the people that are asking the question to that person and the answer that he is giving, I will never make sense of what he is saying. But still people are like, kya answer de diya Baba ne? Because he knows how to behave with such low IQ people. Yes, so that he knows it is his ability. Because he simply he is very much aware that these people do not have an intelligence to actually verify that what he is saying, they will believe in that only. And they will even kill in the name of what he is saying, if he says so. So he really is counting on the stupidity of the people only. And he is aware of that. Understood? So that is what emotional intelligence is all about, that it is simply an ability, it can be manipulated also. Yes? देश के गद्दारों को गोली मारो ... Yes, what was that? So that is actually a reflection of that only, that you are inciting hate, you are inciting emotion against a particular community. So your emotional intelligence you can misuse also. Understood everyone, online walo, that how emotional intelligence is not just ethical all the time, it depends upon its usage, just like it depends upon the usage of technology. समझ में आ गया आप सबको? यस? अरे बता दो भाई ऑनलाइन वालों, डाउट पूछना सबसे आगे रहते हैं, समझ में आया या नहीं आया उसमें आंसर नहीं करते हैं. चलिए नोट कर लीजिए. आई थिंक दिस ओनली स्लाइड इज देयर. Understood? Okay, so I think with this only the limited number of questions are there from this topic, so I think now you can answer those questions. So now let us move to the next topic, that is attitude. Now this topic has been picked from psychology actually, and because of that there is a lot of literature that is available on this topic. Yes, there is a lot of literature that is available on this topic, and it means that that there is a lot of availability of content on this topic. But it does not mean that we should be psychologists when we are studying this topic. We should become psychologists. Yes, we should understand this topic from the perspective of our utility only, that how this can be used in the examination. So you please see the question that has been asked from the topic. Usually the questions are that how you will be changing the attitude of something, how different kind of attitude are formed. So those are the important areas where you should focus upon. Understood? So let us just understand what attitude is. One great thing about attitude is that attitude is a relational term. Attitude is a relational term. What does it mean? That attitude will always be with respect to something. Attitude cannot exist standalone. It will always be with respect to something. And that we call as attitudinal object. What is my attitude towards students? What is your attitude towards me? So basically, attitude is always towards something. अरे बाद में लिखना भाई सुनो. Attitude would always be towards something, and that something is called attitudinal object. You will always have this attitudinal object, otherwise attitude will not exist. यही तो पूछेंगे ना attitude किसके लिए? So this can be anything. This can be person, this can be opinion, this can be cloth, food. This attitudinal object can be anything actually. This can be country also. What is your attitude towards North Korea, for example? This can be region also. What do you think of Bihar as a region, perhaps? So all I am saying is that attitude is a relational term. It actually, it does not exist without attitudinal object. So what is attitude then? It is your predisposition. It is your tendency to behave in a certain fashion towards attitudinal object. It is your tendency to behave in a certain fashion. So basically, I think I gave you the example. If I have the attitude of hatred towards a particular race, then my tendency will be to hate them whenever I encounter them. If suppose I am someone who is patriarchal, then patriarchy is an attitude. Then my tendency will be to behave in a patriarchal fashion whenever I meet with women. Understood or not? Suppose I am having the attitude of optimism, then my tendency will be to see the brighter side of the things even when I am facing difficulties. Understood or not? So attitude is basically predisposition, that usually this is this is how I am expected to behave. Through my character, through my attitude only, you can perhaps understand that this is how he will behave. For example, we know that this is how our parents will behave, whether they will approve of something or not, because we know their attitude. Although they may act differently when you actually ask the question. Although you may think that your parents are against intercaste marriage. Yes? So you may think that if suppose I have someone, someone from the intercaste, and I'm in a relationship with that person, and suppose I propose that to my father, then my father will always say no only. So his attitude is, his predisposition is that he does not believe in intercaste marriage. He is having a negative attitude, and that you know. So you can actually predict he has a tendency to behave in that fashion. Although it may just happen that maybe because of sheer love towards you, he may agree that ठीक है भाई कर लो, although मेरा मन नहीं है but तुम कर लो. So his actual behavior may actually be different at times. I think I gave you the example. Suppose I am a patriarchal person, but I may not behave in a patriarchal fashion when I am in public because I will be judged. Understood or not? So that is how your attitude may not always, correlate with behavior all the time. Although it tells a lot about your behavior. Usually this is what we can expect from such people. Usually this is what we can expect. So attitude is simply the tendency to behave. It is not the actual behavior. Many of you might not have an attitude of discipline, but in class you behave like that you are a disciplined student. Yes? So here your behavior and your attitude, is not actually going in sync with each other. Understood? So basically, attitude and behavior, it may go together, actual behavior, and it may not go together. We will discuss that later. But attitude in true sense is the mental predisposition to act in a certain way. Basically, what is your overall judgment towards the attitudinal object? Understood or not? how you evaluate something favorably or unfavorably. That is what attitude is. To understand attitude in more detail, let us understand some important key terms. Let us discuss beliefs first. What are beliefs? Belief. Now, beliefs are something that we hold to be true. They are the assumptions that we hold to be true because we believe in them. They may or may not be true. We believe in God. Yes, many of us believe in God. But does the God really exist? Is there any factual basis of that? Is it objective? So it is simply our belief. All of you believe that you will qualify civil services examination? Yes, but then this is your belief. May or may not be real. Understood or not? So belief is what you believe in. Sacred Grove, you understand Sacred Grove? Various community believe that their ancestor, they live in the forest area. So basically, there may not be actually ancestor that is living there. The spirit that might be living there. But they believe in that. So basically, beliefs are the assumption that you hold on to be true. Understood or not? Yes? And belief are the first step towards building of attitude or value. Because usually, when we grow up, what our parents teaches us? That you should not steal, otherwise, aapko paap lagega, you will go to hell, something like that. So this is something that we believe, that to steal something is wrong. So that assumption that we are having, although we may not have personal preference as yet for stealing as of now, but we have this assumption that if I indulge in stealing, then perhaps I will be going to hell only. But later, slowly, suppose when you are punished for so many times for the stealing, then perhaps you will not prefer to steal. And that will become value. Because values are your preference. Let me just explain through an example. All of you may have the belief that, let's say, wearing seat belt is important. Yes, it is a belief. A belief does not mean that it will not be true always. It just means it can or cannot be true. Okay? So suppose all of you have this fundamental belief that wearing seat belt is important. Yet, in actual practice, you don't wear seat belt. You don't prefer wearing seat belt. It happens. Although at cognitive level, someone who asks cognition, that person should listen very carefully. At cognition level, at your mental level, you believe the fundamental thing is that wearing seat belt is important. But you don't prefer it at your value level just yet. You don't prefer it. That you will be wearing seat belt, although just like smoking, at cognitive level you know that smoking causes cancer, but still you prefer smoking. You are not against smoking yet. So basically, your belief has not yet become your value or your personal preference. That is a dichotomy that is there between belief that has not yet become your value. Understood or not? That we believe seatbelt is important, yet we are not preferring that. When we are going outside. Yet, we believe scientifically that smoking causes cancer, yet we indulge in smoking only. So basically, can you understand that belief and value can be different thing? Or it may be the case that, you may prefer wearing seat belt. Value. Belief and value are in alignment. That you may prefer wearing seat belt. That preference is that yes, I will wear seat belt. So basically, belief and value may align with each other or may not align with each other. Understood or not? Yes? Now, let me just give you an example. Suppose you meet a road accident or someone from your family meet a road accident. God forbid that happen, Suppose someone from your family meet road accident. Now, if you meet road accident, even though you have believed that seat belts are important, then belief will automatically become your value and you will start wearing seat belt because now you have experienced road accident in your family and the mess up because of that. So now it will become your value also and your attitude also. You will prefer, there will be a tendency to behave in a particular fashion that you will be wearing seat belt all the time whenever you are on the trip. This is actually my car. This is my accident only last year, 2nd April. I was coming from Jaipur to Delhi. So this accident happened. My car tumbled so many times, just like the movies in Rohit Shetty movie. Yes, it just happened, and it tumbled like anything. On this that expressway was inaugurated at that point of time only, and me and my wife were traveling in that car. Both of us were there, and the car tumbled like anything. And of course, as it is there, it was severely, yes, lot of damage was there to the car. Yes, and then, and after this happened, I was unconscious for a few seconds or few minutes, I don't know. And we were like this, upside down, because car was like that only. We were like upside down, and this is the driver's side. Actually, I think the road is, the window is, the door is open. Okay, and then, my wife, she woke me up, that you come out. Now, there was leakage that were there of the diesel, and I thought it might just explode anytime. So we came outside. And there was not even, by God's grace, there was not even a drop of blood on my body. Nothing happened actually. But people stopped, the passers-by, the people who were passing by, they stopped and they asked who was driving the car. And I said, I was driving the car, because it does not look like that you are driving the car, because there is nothing that has happened to you. So basically, that is what I'm telling, because both of us were wearing seat belts at that point of time. And because of that, airbags opened, and because of that, we were very, very safe actually. Nothing happened, not even a drop of blood that was there. Some marks were there because of bruises and everything, but no major thing, nothing. But, so my belief was there that we should wear seat belt. Definitely my preference was there that, that I should wear, and I was wearing seat belt. My wife was also, at times she does not wear seat belt, and I will often ask her, please wear seat belt. Now, see, now it has become part of my attitude that I should wear seat belt even when I am on the rear seat if someone is driving on the highway. So that is what happened. Even last year when I was coming from Jaipur to Delhi, then I was on the rear seat. Even on my rear seat, I was wearing seat belt. And I asked everyone in the car that please wear seat belt. Of course, the person who was sitting beside me, my friend, he did not wear seat belt. Okay, because he was in the rear side. The people who are in front, they were wearing seat belt for obvious reason, for the fines and everything. But the person who was sitting beside me, my friend, he did not wear seat belt, because he did not prefer wearing seat belt while he was sitting, in the rear side. But me, having gone through this particular incident, was wearing seat belt throughout the journey, even when I was sitting in the rear side. So that is how life experiences, they can change your value, they can change your attitude, and they can change your behavior also. And now your belief may grow into becoming of value, your value may grow into becoming of your attitude. Understood or not? It can change also. Suppose I was not wearing the seat belt, and suppose, somehow, I survived that accident, then perhaps, but the damage was there, then perhaps I will prefer wearing seat belt after that point of time. And that is why from that moment onwards, I have started advocating for that all of us should wear seat belt even when we are sitting on the rear side. If we are going on the highway, city mein to zarurat nahi hai aisa piche baithne pe, but on highway we should always wear seat belt. Understood or not? So that is the difference that is there between belief, values. Some other difference I think we will take in the next class, because the discussion will now start so many things and we will not be able to wrap it up now. Okay, so I think iska photo le lijiye, but I think you can take it in the next class also. That is up to you. Okay, so belief is something that we register at cognitive level. Okay, they are our assumptions only. Understood?
Yes.
It was Creta, Hyundai Creta. Someone was asking, गाड़ी कौन सी थी? हाँ? फोटो मैंने ही खींचा भाई, इंश्योरेंस क्लेम नहीं करना था मुझे उसके बाद. मैंने ही खींचा फोटो। देखो ये अभी भी डाउट कर रहे हैं, ये वास्तव में एक्सीडेंट हुआ कि सर ये फोटो ले आए हो कहीं से, ये आप ही की गाड़ी है कि नहीं? स्टिल डाउटिंग। हे भगवान, कैसे कैसे लोग हैं। There is a bruise that is there, that is still there even after 1.5 years after the accident, because the handle, is stuck here. The bruise is still there at my stomach. Yes, very good, Sohani. So in empathy and compassion, how do you inculcate that? The same point of emotional intelligence inculcation you can write, that you start early, be emotionally supportive. So many of the points you can write from there to how to actually inculcate empathy and compassion. Yes. थैंक यू विकास। ई सिंह सब ध्यान से चलाया करो प्लीज। ओके, अंडरस्टूड? ओके देन आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर वी शुड स्टॉप। सो on Monday you have next class, so there you will start with attitude only. So we'll cover this topic and then we'll slowly move to other part. Any other doubt online walo? Any other doubt? Any other doubt? Okay then, bye bye, take care, good night.